Hey, friend, I'm Jazz. And I'm starting a journey to become a therapist at 32. And I know 32 is not old. I know it's not old. But it's usually around the time where people are getting settled into their career. They maybe have some tenure. And I'm beginning a new one. I have been teaching for almost 10 years, elementary school. And I've decided that it's time for me to do something different. I thought I would never be going back to school. I went back to school for my master's in 2018, 2019, and finished during the pandemic. And I felt like Jocelyn. I said, I'm never going back to the strip club, Stevie. I'm never going back. That's how I felt about going back to school. Yet, here I am. Here I am, enrolled this year. I've been in school for about 3 weeks, and it had a very interesting start. We received a lot of snow here in Memphis about 2 weeks ago, and I had only had one class, one in-person class for both of my classes. And then everything kind of shut down for the last 2 weeks. I haven't been to work, I haven't been to school, everything has been virtual. So an interesting start for sure, but one that I'm very grateful but one that I'm very grateful for. Excuse me. Now, I have a list of things I want to share here with you all. And I want to tell you all about the last 5 years, okay? The last 5 years of my life have been quite interesting. I'm not sorry, but I'm sweating because I'm sitting in the sun. But the last 5 years, I have spent traveling for the most part. It's been dedicated to me traveling the world to learn more about myself, to learn more about others, and to learn more about who I'm supposed to be in this world. And it's been very flexible. I lived in Merida, Mexico for the last 3 years. So even just moving back to the U.S. and starting school is a journey in itself. But I have been able to see now that all of those experiences have led me to this one and this career change. It's something that I've been running from for the last 10 years. People have been telling me, I think, therapy may be your calling. And I knew that I had the ability to create safe spaces for people and the ability to make people feel comfortable with being themselves and revealing themselves to me. I just wasn't sure that that was the career path for me. But no matter what career I'm in, it's end up being what I end up doing, counseling in some way. Whether it's my intention or not, typically it's not. But I enjoy it. I enjoy holding space for others. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very interesting ride. It should take me about 2.5 years to finish this program. I'm going to school at the University of Memphis, which is really cool because I've never been in college in Memphis. Both of my undergrad and my graduate degrees are from schools in Atlanta, so it's nice to be educated again from my hometown. Okay, Memphis. Mm-hmm. All right, so the purpose of me documenting this, and heads up, it won't be edited because I'm juggling a lot, so bear with me. The purpose of me documenting my experience, my journey to become a therapist is, one, for me to be able to reflect back on a different version of myself when I'm at the end of this process, or when I'm 10 years into being a therapist and I want to recall who I was when I began this journey. And the other reason is to serve as a resource for those who may be curious or interested in following a similar path. Because as y'all know, it ain't a ton of folks that look like us in the mental health space. And we know we need it, especially post-pandemic. I think we really underestimate the effects of what that did to us and for us in some ways. But I know that during that time, it became a pressing matter for me to take my mental health serious because it's something that I just really didn't assess or acknowledge, nor does my family and most Black families. But I got to a point where I knew I needed some help. Actually, right before the pandemic, it was 2020, but it was right before we went into lockdown is when I said, oh, I need to see a therapist because I'm not functioning very well. I'm not functioning in a healthy way. And that led me down a path of here, of healing. And here, it led me to Mexico. It led me to a lot of different things. But if you are that type of person who is looking for a reflection and a possible path, I hope that this serves that for you. I'm going to do my absolute best to share my journey, to answer any questions that you all have. So please drop them in the comments if this is something you're interested in. But I want to share with you my concerns and my excitement about beginning this new journey. And my biggest concern is juggling it all. I set the word for 2026 to be balanced because, girl, I'm doing a lot. I'm aware that I'm doing a lot, and it's really something that I always do. I always do a lot. I always fill my plate, working through that. But I'm worried about balancing a full-time job because I'm working back in the school, and I haven't been in the school since 2020. I haven't been in a brick and mortar space since 2020. I haven't worked really for anybody else since 2020 because I was doing contract work and entrepreneur work. If y'all want to talk about that, we'll talk about it in a different video. But I'm back in a time demanding space of education. So balancing that, I also have a travel community that I facilitate, and I am a student taking 2 classes. I was taking 3, but I was like, ho, ho, ho. But I'm a student now. So really just hoping that I can find time to make sure I spend time with my loved ones, but I also take care of myself, which is priority number 1. That's my number 1 job in this life. And the other concern is I'm working with people's hearts and people's spirits. Of course, it's mental health, and we put a lot of focus on the mind, and the mind is obviously super important. But I'm fully aware that this is also spiritual work. It's science-based work, but it's spiritual work when someone chooses to be vulnerable with you. And they're seeking healing. They're seeking emotional, mental, spiritual healing from a therapist. And that's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of responsibility for a person. And I'm just hoping and praying and being intentional about being conscious of that moving forward and to handle people with care, which is always my intention. But as we know, there's intention and then there's impact. So I want that to be my intention, but also my impact in this work. So not wrestling with it, but understanding and accepting the type of work that I'm choosing to go into. Now, granted, I've been responsible for people's most prized possessions, which are their children, for the last 10 years, which is a lot of responsibility too. But I don't know, this one just feels very different to me. Now, my excitement. My excitement is around assisting people in their healing and growth journey. I genuinely believe that I was put on this earth to heal and see who people are at their core, and helping them also see themselves, and nurturing growth through that with their collaboration, with their partnership. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to learn more about humanity. I'm enjoying my classes so much, the theories and everything. I'm excited to watch people start in a space and evolve into a higher space of themselves. And I'm excited to do the work on myself because, from my understanding, in order to be a good therapist, effective therapist, you really have to be self-aware and continuously work on yourself. Because, like I said, it is spiritual work, it is heart work, it is mental work. So I think I'll do a lot of uncovering of myself through this process, a lot of therapizing myself, a lot of probably learning about my family dynamics, yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to see who I be. Child, the sun got my nose running. I don't know if it's snot or sweat. Excuse me. And my career plans. This is February 6th, 2026. Okay, 2626. Okay. Anywho, my career plans as of now is that I really would love to have a private practice that's focused on Black women as individuals, but also group therapy for Black women. It's not something that I've seen explored institutionally or reflected necessarily in this space. I haven't seen, not to say it doesn't exist, but I just haven't seen it reflected much in the mental health space for Black women. But it's so innate to who we are as women and as Black women to heal in community. We see it in the beauty shop, we see it at church, we see it on the cheer team, whatever it may be. When Black women choose to be reflective, when we choose to present ourselves, when we choose to exchange with each other, I think some of the most beautiful divine work and healing occurs. So I just want to study that, to study what that could be for us, how that can help us grow. A part of me is kind of interested in marriage and family therapy because I just find relationships and family dynamics to be very, very interesting. And ultimately, retreats. As you may know, if you've been following me for a while on Instagram and TikTok for the last couple of years, you know how much I love travel, how much it means to me as a person, how much I think it means for Black folks to travel. So to be able to host mental health retreats in destinations that are extremely healing and conducive to growth, a dream. I'm speaking into existence because I know it's happening. I'm actually hosting a trip this year. So I'll put the link in the chat for you to check that out and see if you align with it. But to be able to combine my love for travel with mental health, I can't wait. I can't wait to arrive to that reality. So if you feel aligned with any of these things that I've been sharing and you are just curious about my journey or you're curious about going on a similar path for yourself, go ahead and subscribe, friend. Let this be my first entry into this journey, but it won't be the last. Stay tuned, friend.